There is an intense psychological pull to exploring undocumented cave systems. The challenge of navigating completely pitch-black, hidden geography requires cavers to endure extreme physical constraints, pushing their bodies through narrow gaps in solid rock. A squeeze is a specific caving term for a passage so narrow it requires a sequential technique to pass safely. To fit, you must move your arms forward first, follow with your shoulders, and finally drag your legs through the constricted space. Then navigating these unmapped narrow passages, there is a cardinal safety protocol. You must enter leg first. This orientation ensures that your knees can bend against the rock, providing the leverage needed to push yourself out if the passage becomes too tight to continue. In 1999, Robert Kennedy ignored these preparations. He entered Oklahoma's Hermit Cave wearing only a t-shirt and jeans, carrying a single flashlight. His group also shrank to just 2 people when a friend left for work, violating the rule of 3, a mandate ensuring one person can stay with an injured companion while the third seeks help. 11 years later, another caver named Alex made a different error. While exploring a tight squeeze in Vancouver with 2 inexperienced high schoolers, Alex, the most seasoned member of the group, inexplicably took up the rear instead of leading his novice team through the narrow terrain. By ignoring equipment checks, abandoning group positioning, and shrinking their team size, these cavers lost their primary safety measures before they ever encountered the physical dangers of the rock. Inside Hermit Cave, Robert spotted an unmapped side passage. Disregarding the leg-first rule, he forced his body head-first into the dark, uncharted opening. This cross-section shows the geometry of the trap he entered. The passage dropped at a steep 30-degree angle and narrowed into a rigid hourglass shape. Exhausted, Robert reached the tightest point of the hourglass. To fit, he exhaled all the air from his lungs, forcing his rib cage to shrink just enough to slide past the rock. But the moment he inhaled, his chest expanded and locked flush against the stone walls. The rock encased him just below the rib cage. One arm was pinned underneath his body, and the other was forced backward by a protruding rock, leaving him with no leverage to move. Because of the steep downward slant, gravity worked against him. He was trapped in an inverted position, his face pinned mere inches above the wet, muddy cave floor. When the rib cage is physically blocked from expanding, the primary threat shifts from claustrophobia to the mechanical failure of the respiratory system. After Robert's brother retreated to find help, a large response operation mobilized. 10 rescue experts arrived at the Hermit Cave entrance to coordinate an extraction. But subterranean geography limits the effectiveness of a large team. The route to Robert required a 150-foot crawl through cramped tunnels, creating a commute bottleneck where only one person could reach the victim at a time. Standard engineering solutions were impossible. Robert's depth and the complex, unmapped geography meant emergency crews could not drill a vertical extraction shaft from the surface. Working by hand, the rescuers attempted to build a mechanical system, drilling tension hooks into the walls to set up a pulley rig to hoist Robert upward by his feet. The limestone and gypsum walls seen here were too soft for the equipment. Under the tension of the ropes, the brittle rock crumbled, causing the metal hooks to rip out and the system to fail. Specialized extraction tools and rescue training are often neutralized by the uncompromising physical constraints of the rock. As the rescue stalled, the localized atmosphere began to decay. Deep passages lack natural ventilation, and the increased respiration of a trapped caver consumes the limited oxygen supply in the immediate space. Simultaneously, the physics of an inverted body start to fail. Gravity pulls the body's mass downward, increasing the pressure against the lungs and brain. The spatial limits around Robert were so extreme that rescuers could not even pass a simple container of water past his compressed chest. The cave environment accelerates the victim's physical collapse, while the narrow geography slows the extraction efforts to a literal crawl. Stripped of mechanical options, the rescue teams resorted to a manual method. Rotating in shifts, they used hand tools to slowly chip away the solid rock surrounding Robert's trapped torso. This approach is agonizingly slow. In the 2010 Vancouver incident, it took 4 hours to free Alex. Robert's prolonged entrapment proved fatal before his body could be moved. Alex's team benefited from following the rule of 3. With 3 people present, Rachel could stay with Alex, while Jack immediately reached the surface to trigger a rescue response. In both entrapments, the primary cause of death is a combination of asphyxiation from sustained chest compression and localized oxygen deprivation. Survival depends on the discipline of the caver before the rock narrows. While a rescue team can sometimes navigate these bottlenecks, the physical reality of a cave makes successful extraction difficult once the body is fully wedged.